look back and see, because I think I made a pretty big play mistake here. Not exactly here, but coming up soon. I go ahead and play Jace Beleren, which I think is correct here because I can go ahead and Burst Lightning his 2 guys, and I go ahead and target myself with it, play my land, and pass the turn, holding a Flash Freeze and a Burst Lightning in hand. And a Jace Beleren on the board, and an active Pyromancer Ascension. Now, again, the more videos of these I make, or the more games you play with Pyromancer Ascension, hopefully you'll start to see that same correlation between playing Jace Beleren, activating it a bunch, and winning the game. This card is extremely strong. It stops Jace the Mind Sculptor from coming into play, it assassinates him, it comes down extremely early on. Now my opponent plays a Leyline of Vitality here. And that now gives them all +0/+2, making Jiraga Tree Speaker, I believe, a 1/4 at this point, but then it's going to get +1/+1 from the Elvish Archer, making it a 2/5. Now, in the moment, I misread the game state, and I thought that I'd be able to Burst Lightning them both and kill them both. However, being 5 toughness, the Jiraga Tree Speaker would be safe. And then I realized, as soon as I untapped, that I could just go ahead and play Burst Lightning for a kicker, targeting both of them with the Pyromancer Ascension and kill off his entire squad. And that looks like to be what I do during my main phase. Again, he has no cards in hand, a board of 2 Leylines of Vitality and Forests, and his board is going to be cleared out with a Foresee in my hand, a Flash Freeze in hand, and an active Pyromancer Ascension. This game is all but over. The green deck simply don't have the reach at this point. Against a red deck, when you stabilize at 9 life, they still have some reach. They can go ahead. Almost every card in their deck, non-land card in their deck, is worth 2 to 3 damage, sometimes more. Cards like Stagger Shock are worth 4 damage. Cost of the Hammer could be worth 4 or more damage. Burst Lightning can be worth 5 damage. Against red deck wins or goblins or anything of the sort, talking over the match because it's getting a little less interesting. He plays an Acidic Slime, which I go ahead and Flash Freeze. Then against red deck wins or goblins, you need to stabilize at a much higher life total and be extremely aware of how much reach they do have. Some of those lists have Flame Slash that makes it a little less important. Some of them have cards like Searing Blaze, which again makes it a little less important because you have shown how many creatures. Although some lists have things like Forked Bolt or Stagger Shock. Stagger Shock is especially worrisome because at instant speed end of turn, you could be looking at 4 damage. It looks like I go ahead and Foresee, copy it, and the game is basically over. I get to sculpt my perfect hand here, and then as soon as I have the game completely under wraps, will be time to just burn him out if he doesn't concede at first. Casting 2 to 3 Preordains a turn, 2 to 3 Foresees. It's just insurmountable card advantage at this point against an opponent with 0 cards in hand and a board of lands and Leylines of Vitality. Again, this is the reason why I just can't imagine those Leylines of Vitality being very good here. So as my turn progresses, looks like I scry a bunch, draw a bunch of cards, pass a turn, have 2 Flash Freezes in hand. He only has 1 card. Basically everything he draws is either going to get played as a land or countered, or if it's something irrelevant like a Leyline of Vitality, or I hate to keep harping on the card, or anything of the sort. And this is one of the reasons why this Elf deck looks like it could really use a card like Molten Tail Massacre, where I boarded out all my mana leaks, and I would have had no answer if he would have just thrown down a Massacre there. He could have burned me out extremely easily. I untap, Preordain. This game is basically over. We're just waiting on a concession from the opponent. There's no way. He's drawing dead. I don't think he has any combination of cards in his deck that are likely, at least, that could win him the game here. So I'm just going to keep scrying and drawing, and hopefully at some point I'll have the win in hand. The only thing that you could possibly be waiting for would be Call to Mind number 2. For comboing off, and most of the time, combined with the rest of your burn, even just a single Call to Mind in the late game with 1 or 2 Pyromancer Ascensions active can be game ending. And yeah, here the opponent concedes, and there you go. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope this becomes a more regular feature of the brewery. Enjoy.